What's up, everyone? So today we're going to be looking at a question by BadQuery, and his question is, how did the post office not question you dropping off mad packages? So let's get to it. So to answer this question, it's pretty easy. This video is not going to be very long, I don't think, unless I go off on a tangent, which is always liable to happen. So to answer this question, the answer to that question is, don't ship mad packages, from one location. It's pretty straightforward. So we had shipped roughly 3 packages, per post office, and then we wouldn't go back to that post office for a good 6 months. And there was a lot of thought put into those numbers and that strategy, and that, it worked phenomenally. Until, again, my cousin didn't follow that policy, and that's when we started having, actual issues. So the answer to your question is, don't ship mad packages. We shipped anywhere from, towards the end, we would ship anywhere from, we'll call it 75 packages on the low end to 250 packages on the high end. And, inside of that package, it could be, couple grams of weed, or it could be 4 ounces of coke. It definitely changed up. In all of these, and on all of these videos, you're going to get a lot of estimates from me. You're not going to get exact numbers because I can't supply you with exact numbers. I didn't keep books, as we didn't have an accountant, but definitely to answer your question, you err on the side of caution. So the biggest thing in that business is ensuring that you live another day to be able to do business. So with that said, that's why we employed that. There were times when, my cousin would drive to Rhode Island to ship packages. You do that as a precaution. You go that extra distance. I think the rural ones were the best, where you have, a bunch of towns, and you just, you plot it out and you figure, for today, how are we shipping packages? Where are we shipping packages? And on that map, you're using tax or whatever it may be, you're figuring out where you were, where you have been, and that's how you're doing it. And then, after so many days, once the customer gets theirs, you have to, the biggest thing is making sure that you have it organized where, when a package gets delivered, that receipt that you got, from, for that particular person, that receipt gets destroyed. Because at the end of the day, that tracking number, it has their name, it has their address. Your job as a vendor is to not only keep yourself safe, but to keep your customers safe. You have, in my opinion, you have an obligation to these people that are paying you for your services. And to me, that was part of the obligation that I saw that I had to them, was to, keep them safe as well. And it was something that was really important to me. But I hope that answers your question. And I appreciate you taking the time to write it out. Thank you for that.